Hi, welcome to Adventures in Bonsai. Today we're going to take a look at the Desert Cassia, which is a plant that's native to the Caribbean and has spread to the northern part of South America and the southern part of North America. It gets yellow flowers pretty much all year long, gets little seed pods and seeds. The flowers are fragrant. It's a slow-growing plant. It's used as a shrub in its native areas. And the main problem we may run into today is that it usually has a taproot. Now, people have been writing to me that they don't quite know what the growth medium is that I'm using. So just to bring some people up to speed, we're going to take a look at sphagnum moss and how we prepare it and get it ready. Okay, we'll take a look at that in a second. Sphagnum moss. It's the moss that becomes peat moss after it falls under the surface of the bogs that it grows on. Now we get it dry, and then I put it in a container here which is filled with water to let it soak up water. Sphagnum moss soaks in about 10 times its weight in water, which is what makes it such a good growth medium, plus it's very medicinal. And this is what we use to grow our bonsai in because they do very well in it down here. It's also good for cuttings and for seedlings. Okay, let's go take a look and get this plant in shape. So this is the Desert Cassia. It gets these beautiful flowers here and these seed pods, and it flowers all year long, and it's a nice little tree. It's a great little bonsai tree. And what I'm afraid of here is what this root is going to look like, because a lot of times these get taproots, but let's see what's going on here. Okay, it's a nice specimen. It's not overgrown in the roots, and let's see how it breaks up. Oh, it's tight. It's really tight. Okay, I'm going to have to, what I do is, I take this hose here and I start to knock away the stuff under here. So I'm going to do that and then I'll get back to you. Okay, this root is really tough to clean out. It's really tight, and instead of killing myself, what I'm going to do is, because I'm going to be working with this pot to transplant it into, I don't need it as high as it is, so I'm going to just saw it off. This way I don't have to work so hard with cleaning it up. Okay, so I'm going to go maybe about half here. If I'm lucky, I won't hit a big taproot. Okay, so that was pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to go on and try to clean this out, which should be a little easier than working on it the way it was before. It's a really tight root ball. It's very unusual for the plants that I usually get. So what I've done is I've hooked the hose up so it's held by a C-clamp, and this way I can work it with my fingers and try to get this stuff to come apart. And it's kind of a tedious job, but it really needs to be done because you want to get as much of the soil out as possible. Okay, we'll be back when I'm finished. So I got a lot of this stuff cleaned out. Sometimes you just can't get it all. You try your best to get rid of as much of the material that was original to it, and then we start to take sphagnum moss and we start to put it into all the little crevices and in between the roots as best as we can. Try and hold it with one hand and put the sphagnum moss around it. The sphagnum moss is very medicinal to plants. They really do well in it, and all I'm doing here is putting this in and trying to make a nice little kind of root ball here for it. I'm going to get some more. Let's see if I can get this and pick this up here. Maybe it's a little better. And then what we do is we put a pad of sphagnum moss into the pot, and then we kind of just flip it all up. And I have to see how I want this to go. This looks like it's got a rock under it. It may. It's hard to tell right now. It's so moss covered. I kind of want to figure out where I want this tree to be position-wise. And I kind of like that, so that's what I'll do. Remember, you can do whatever you want. It's your tree, and there's no rules that really apply. If you like it, it's good. So what I'm doing now is I'm just taking the sphagnum moss and packing it in really tightly because it likes a good contact between the sphagnum moss and the roots. And this will also help it sit in the pot decently. What you do is you put your fingers in, you'll feel hollow areas, and those are the areas that need more sphagnum moss. And you just keep pushing it in and make sure the tree is in the position you want it in as you're doing it. And eventually, we'll get this thing all set up the way we like it. So I'll come back when I'm done with that, okay? So we got this planted here in the sphagnum moss in the pot. It's pretty secure. Now I want to figure out what kind of shape I want this plant to have. And I kind of like it when trees grow laterally rather than vertically. Like for instance, we have this piece here growing up like this. And I'm just going to come and get rid of it. Now it starts to look as if this is going out the way I want it to go. I'm going to do the same with some of these other ones here. And don't be afraid to cut stuff, because it will grow back. Now also some of these are on the long side. And I want this to be a little bit tighter, so I'm going to come in here and cut some of these long ones off. Now down here I got a little problem. I've got these two branches coming out of the same spot. I don't know if I like it or not. I think I do. I'm going to kind of keep that, but just make this a shorter branch over here. Now this comes up a little bit. Maybe I'll cut this off over here. Okay. Now, I also like to cut off leaves that are too close to the trunk, because it gives it a more tree-like appearance when we do that. So I'll get rid of some of these little leaves over here. Okay, now this branch here is coming up, and this one looks okay. I like that over here, but this one here I'm going to shorten up a little. And if you make a mistake, what you think is a mistake, a lot of times mistakes become the best part of the plant. So don't worry about it. Now I've also got some stuff going on inside here. Little growth that I need to clean out. So I'm going to clean that out and then we'll get back to you. I noticed this branch here which crosses over, and I don't like crossing branches, especially when they're too long. So we're just going to get rid of this. Pick a spot, shorten it up. I also saw this piece here, which is going out and up. I'm going to shorten that one off too. And now overall I have an interesting looking, this one here is a little bit long in terms of the branch, but I want to keep the flowers because I like them, so I'm going to cut the end of that off. I'll make that look like that. Okay, and this is fine. This is an interesting looking plant. I just don't know if I like the tilt of the tree. I may want to come and straighten it out a little bit more. So maybe I'll go back and redo some of the moss in the pot to make it look the way I want it to look, which is what you should do too when you're doing this stuff. You can take your time and get it right. Okay, I'll be back when I've redone that. We're going to put some moss on this plant, some surface moss to make it look a little better. What I do to get the moss ready is I take a nice piece of it like this, but this has some substrate on it that needs to be cleaned off, and using the hose I get in position here. I just lightly spray so I wash away all the sand. This grows on the sand down here in Florida, so it's filled with the sand, and you can see it kind of washing away. You don't have to get it all, because when you water the plant it'll slowly percolate through the sphagnum moss. Now I also will clean off the other side, because a lot of times the sand goes through there too. Sorry there. Okay, so what you can do with it, I like to kind of work by starting up near the trunk. And the trick is you want to push it in so that the water comes through the sphagnum moss. Then you know it's got good contact. This moss that's being placed over the roots here may take, it may not, but it will look fine either way, because when you see the roots it looks good too. And you just take the moss, just pick it apart with your hands to edit it and put it in where you want it. Little pieces. I think on this side I'm going to add a little gravel to give this a little different look. So I'm going to take this bonsai gravel and put that on here. some more moss back here. I'll just take a piece and fit it in. Back here I need a little. It's good to put the surface moss right underneath the roots. Gives it a nice look. Okay, then I'll take a flat-edged wooden utensil of some sort, either just a regular piece of wood or something like this spatula here, and I push it in so it makes a nice edge on it. Go around the plant. It's not rocket science, folks, so don't worry about it. Okay, now I'm going to just give it a light spray to wash it off. You come to something over the edge, pull it out or cut it off is best. So here you have it, the Desert Cassia, a very nice tree for bonsai. Give it a try. The nice thing about it is I don't see any thorns on it. So you don't have to worry about that. A lot of these trees that look like acacias have thorns, but this one doesn't. Okay, so give it a try when you're ready and have fun with your bonsai.